So this video is going to be all about foreshortening. I'm David Finch and I've been a professional comic book artist for over 25 years. All right, I'm going to start by just drawing a little bit of foreshortening using tubes. These are the basic forms that you can use for your arms, for your legs. And so if I've got an arm that's pointed directly downward, I've got a tube. This will be my upper arm. And then I've got a tube. I'm going to shape it just a little bit for my lower arm. And then we'll put in a bit of a form for a hand. It'll be a fist. And that's going to be your basic forms. In perspective, coming towards you, I can imagine that I've got a perspective point. And so my lines and my shapes get larger as they come towards you and then recede into the background as they go away. I think that's a fairly clear concept. And so I could continue using my perspective points and trying to explain it that way, but that really is not at all how I approach it. I don't know anyone that approaches it that way, and I think that you would really run into some serious technical issues doing it that way. What I do is I figure if this will be my upper arm, I'll make my forearm about twice as long and come out larger. And here's going to be my shoulder. And then my hand, I'm going to make that larger too in proportion to the forearm. But I need to be careful that I'm going up in sizing that makes sense. With all that done, I'm going to go ahead and draw an arm foreshortened. Got my upper arm here. I'm going to foreshorten it just a little bit more than this one. Something that's very important when I'm doing this is I want to make sure that all of my form is high up on. If I've got it wider here, I want to make sure to push that well back into the form. I don't want it to round all the way up or the front. That's something that really fights the effect. I'm gonna get my anatomy roughed in. And once I get this roughed in, we're gonna talk about how I define my shapes in a more clean way, because it's a really important process for making foreshortening work. And I'm gonna start drawing in my actual shapes. I really like to go with hard lines and not soft curves. And especially, I feel like in foreshortening, that helps to accentuate the faster turns that you get with your forms. So I've just about got my forms quickly drawn in. And you can see it gets much shorter as you come up toward the top, or the upper arm. And I've basically got everything defined in the way that I want to get it. Now, there are a few concepts that I've used here that are very important. When you draw the arm, your shoulder rests over your bicep and your tricep, and it hooks in fairly low right there. But when you draw foreshortening, this kind of foreshortening, if you do that and bring it way down, it completely kills the effect. So you have to make sure that if you know that, for instance, this muscle is in front of this muscle, then you can't let this muscle overlap in any way. It needs to push back. So the other concept that is incredibly important is overlapping your lines. So if a form is in the foreground, this form is in front of this form, so I'm going to overlap it in front. This form here is in front of this form, so I'm going to overlap this one in front. And I'm going to make sure to keep my connection points very well established. I want this form to be in front of this form to be in front of this form, and what I never want to do is overlap a form that's behind. I'll do it so you see is in front of it, and if you do that, it completely destroys the effect. It's incredible how fragile the effect of foreshortening can be. I'm coming up from smaller to a little bit larger, larger and longer, and each one gets longer as it goes, and then the hand is quite a bit longer also and much larger. But I'm doing it in steady increments, and that prevents it from looking distorted. So now we're going to go ahead and add a little lighting to our shape. And you really want to do the same thing with the lighting. You want to make sure that your lighting follows the same rules. Forms that are in the foreground overlap over forms that are in the background. I'm going very peaked with my forms. I'm not rounding them softly. I'm going very peaked and hard really makes it gives them the illusion of being foreshortened. And we're doing this, I'm getting all of this drawn in because there's one final part of the process that's incredibly important, and that is the rendering. And it's very easy to break your foreshortening and break the illusion of having a form in space with your rendering. So I want to cover that, and in order to do that we need a little bit of lighting, and I prefer to work with a base of actual proper shadow rather than just rendering from nothing. All right, that is going to do it for my basic shadowing. I'll go ahead and start rendering. And now for rendering, if you were drawing this shape here, you would render directly across because the form is pointed directly away from you. Or you could render along the form this way. Now, if you're rendering a form like this, where this is going to be like our arm, all your rendering has to round around your form that you've got established. And if you do that consistently, you'll create the illusion of something that is projecting out in space. And if you fight that at all, you destroy it. And so what I want to do, I know that my form here, this is going to be the overall shape that it takes. I don't draw these lines in, obviously, but for the purposes of making this clear, we'll do the same thing with my frontal tricep head. These all have names that I don't know, and I just never found it useful for learning anatomy to learn all the names of the muscles. Unfortunately, it probably would be useful in teaching it, but I want to make sure that while these lines are rounding here, these lines are rounding here. So I've got these lines here, and I'm following the form that I've already got established. So if I'm rendering on the back of the arm, this is where my form is going. If I'm rendering here, this is where my form is going. If I'm rendering here, my lines go that way, and I never deviate from that. So it's something you really need to bear in mind at all times. It's a very easy thing to keep in mind, but it's also very easy to lose track of. When I'm learning art, when I'm trying to show art, I want to stick to the kinds of things that I think will actually help me be a better artist and you be a better artist. And I don't think that knowing all of the names of every little bone in the wrist is going to make any difference towards your artwork. And I actually think it's very counterproductive, because people only have so much mental energy and so much time to learn, and devoting that time to learning the names of anatomy, I think is a real waste of your mental energy. If you know the names and you've learned them, it's certainly not going to hurt. Not to say that I think it's a bad thing to know the names of the muscles, but I just don't think it's worthwhile. At least I have not found it. And there I've got my lighting basically drawn in. I'm a little loose. All right, that's going to be it for this drawing. I hope that this lesson was helpful for you. It was a lot of fun for me to do. It's something I was looking forward to. I'm going to do more of these coming up in the future. I want to do some foreshortening tutorials with legs and torsos and especially heads. Hands. There is so much to cover, and 10 to 20 minute videos are just too short for me to be able to get it all in there. So I want to do one at a time, and this is number one. This is foreshortening an arm. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.